Hey, 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 Dr. Minesha here, affectionately known as Dr. M, and I want to welcome you to the Peace Driven Leader Lounge, where we would connect with real leaders who are serious about real transformation. And the reason why is because they are intentional about loving, living, leading differently. And I've had the pleasure of meeting phenomenal leaders from all over the planet, like Catherine, Cat the coach, who is joining us in the Peace Driven Leader Lounge today. Thank you so much, Catherine, for joining us.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This is exciting.
Absolutely, right? So, what part of the world are you joining us from?
I am in Denver, Colorado.
Wow. Yeah, definitely on the opposite end for me. And I'm in Savannah,
Oh,
Georgia.
so you're a Southerner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
Well,
not from
I'm a
here.
Texan. I'm a Texan by
Oh,
birth,
okay.
which, sometimes gets confused with Southerners, but Texas, it's
Oh,
really its
yeah,
own
for sure.
thing, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Moved to Denver in 2005, but every time I hear that Texan accent, it makes me a little homesick. And it's a little bit different from a Southern accent, right?
It
But I
is.
love that Southern
It
accent
is.
too.
Yes, and it's so funny you said that because culture is so big, and especially in leadership. Because even when I've
Yeah.
gone, I know last year I had to go to Texas a few times, and there's this warmth that I feel. It's like they can connect with this, that Southern style, the way in which
Mhm.
they carry themselves and the way they treat each other. It really does feel like home. I am a Florida girl, by heart.
Oh,
Yeah, I just
okay.
I transitioned to Savannah actually when my sister passed away. She was
Oh,
27. Yep, life just sent a curveball. I came here, ran my mom's business, and met the love of my life. So the rest is history.
wow.
Yeah, he's a Savannah native. Isn't that crazy how life just
Yeah.
right? So
You know
tell
what's
us.
weird, Dr. M? When
Yeah.
I was in Texas, I
Uh-huh.
knew, like I knew, and I couldn't tell you why, but I knew I was not gonna meet my husband in Texas. My mom had
Mm.
moved to Colorado when I was just graduating college, and, it only took me 13 years after she moved to Colorado to finally get there, but I knew I was gonna meet
Wow.
my husband in Colorado, and I did.
Wow. So we have to pause here because this is literally when I say peace driven leadership, this is like leading with intuition.
Yes,
Trusting that gut, like
yeah.
not understanding all the nuances, but just trusting. And
That
you
is
found your
so
man in
Yes, and it's
Colorado.
so wild that you picked up on that, Dr. M, because it's really one of my central themes this year is developing the connection to the divine, developing my intuition, developing my trust in the divine, because
Mm.
I don't know about you, but, 2025 was hard. So
Mm.
hard in so many ways for me, and I know for a lot of others, and
Absolutely.
so my vision for 2026 is fun and easy. I want fun and easy,
Yes. Oh my
right?
gosh. Yes.
When you develop that trust, like I am held, right? I don't have to worry, I'm okay.
Mhm.
Everything becomes more fun and easier, and
Absolutely.
so that my developing that intuition and leaning into my trust of the divine is part and parcel of making it fun and easy.
Absolutely, 1,000%. So,
Yeah.
what a great segue to introducing yourself officially. Tell us, I know where you're from. I want to know just some landscape of your journey. Like,
Oh.
what has it been for you? What are some fun things you've been able to achieve over the course of your lifetime?
Oh gosh, there's so many good stories, but I'll give you the quick overview. I was a meeting planner for about 26 years, type A personality, go, 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 perfectionist driven, queen of the to-do list. I got to travel all over the world. I got to really have magical experiences, but it was at a pretty high price.
Mm,
It was one of the most stressful careers that you can choose. And in 2018, I got a breast cancer diagnosis
my.
and realized that it was my clarion call that I knew I was stressed, I knew I was burnt out, but I just didn't connect the dots that it could have
Mm,
kind of life or death consequences.
Implications. Absolutely.
Mhm. And I'd been burnt out. I had tried I opened Denver's first dog park bar in
Ah.
2013 to 15 because I knew I was burnt out. I knew I was tired of the meeting planning world, and that was a passion project. It was fabulously successful and then got shut down by the city of Denver due to some zoning regulations. That was heartbreaking.
Of
So I had
course.
kind of like I had the long-term career burnout, but then I also had the I lost my business baby
Yeah.
grief and burnout.
Yeah.
So by
Yeah.
the time 2018 rolled around, I was pretty burnt crispy, and that breast
Mm,
cancer diagnosis was a big wake-up call, and
mm,
it caused me to change the trajectory of my career and really my life,
mm.
and now I'm kind of living my purpose, I feel, in a way that I never have been able to do before, so I'm right where I'm supposed to
Wow.
be.
That feels so good to hear you say that. I
Uh-huh,
am right where I'm supposed to be. For
uh-huh.
those of you who are listening to Kat right now, I want you to pause. This is that moment. We have these pause moments throughout our podcast. And I want you to ask yourself that question. Where are you? Are you right where you're supposed to be? You know? And if the answer is no, then let's begin to unpack what that looks like. I know for me, one of the things I'll always say until the cows come home is that the best place to start is with your PSV, your principles, your standards, and your values. When you get back to that divine identity, that's where it's anchored in what you believe. I think sometimes along the way, we start pulling different things from our lives and things that people have said, and we just package them into our psyche, not realizing that they're showing up in our behaviors, our decisions, and even our self-image, and we have to do some clearing.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so I listened to the part where you said clarion call and how that ends up being the very interrupter that served as a catalyst into your purpose. And you're glowing. I know a lot of people are listening on like the Apple Podcasts and all this, but if just seeing your smile and your glow, it literally shows up in your skin, in your body.
Yeah.
So tell us, about, you said there's a breast cancer diagnosis. How did you navigate that? I mean, that's
Well, no,
tough.
it was not linear, and that's
Mm.
something I think that is really important to communicate. It wasn't linear, and it sure wasn't easy,
Yeah, of
right?
course.
There's this myth that when you figure out your purpose, it's all just,
Yeah.
sunshine and
Come
rainbows,
together,
and it
yeah.
all just falls into place, and I don't think that's true for really anyone, even
Yeah,
those who have found their purpose. You are still growing, and man,
yeah,
when you are growing while you're living your purpose, you are
yeah.
really growing,
Oh
and
my
sometimes
gosh,
that can
yes,
be uncomfortable.
absolutely.
So for me, I knew I wanted to do something heart-centered,
Mhm,
but before even that, I was like, "Okay, I'm just gonna do my meeting planning career, but I'm gonna do it differently. I'm just gonna take more breaks.
mm,
I'm gonna set more boundaries." And because I had been in that environment for so many years, what became
mhm.
clear to me is I didn't know how to do it differently. I was too, like, in the box with
Yeah,
my
oh
stuff,
yeah, I know what you
right?
mean, yeah, yeah.
So I found out within the first year after my breast cancer diagnosis, "Oh, I can't stay here. This
Wow,
I don't feel like I'm allowed to be a human being with and have a human body and human frailties in this, career." I will say there are some kind of toxic containers or toxic beliefs that go with certain careers. So part of that
mhm.
really was the environment and the expectations of everybody around me.
Absolutely,
But a
absolutely.
large part of that was also my own messaging that was just so ingrained. Right. And
Mhm,
so I decided I wanted to pursue something heart centered. I wanted to do something to help people, to be very deeply connected with people, but I didn't want to be a coach because that was cheesy. Right?
mm.
I mean, that's an SNL skit.
Right.
I'll do anything but that.
Hmm.
And so
Look
I
at you
looked
humbled.
into getting a graduate degree in psychology because I already have my undergrad. I looked into going deep with a couple of different, modalities that I had trained with over the past decade or so. I
Mm.
looked into becoming a hypnotherapist.
Oh, wow.
I knew I wanted to do something to help people see their minds and
Yeah.
help shift those outdated scripts that they were living that weren't
Yeah.
serving them, but I was not gonna be a coach, Doctor. No way.
That's so
No
funny, right?
way.
Because one of the things that we talk about is the thing that your body resists. Your mind, your body is the very thing that's like pulling you towards it. And it's like, no, absolutely
Yeah,
not. There's no way you're gonna
exactly.
find me doing it. And then meanwhile, you're getting, pushed. And that's why I always say lean into that. And
It
even
was
now, you know?
It was hilarious because I listened to a podcast, there's a podcast from the life coach school. Don't know why I was listening to it, don't know why it was on the radio, I can't tell you how I ended up there.
Hmm.
And she was talking about kind of some big lessons that she had learned from different thought leaders in
Mhm.
the mind body space, and I'm like, "Yeah, I know that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know that."
Mhm.
Like, no kidding. It was just so part of who I am at this point
Absolutely.
because I had been marinating in that for decades.
Absolutely.
And toward the
It was a
end of
part of
the
who you were.
podcast, it was one of those, like, divine downloads,
Yes.
and I went, "Oh, crap, I'm supposed to be a coach."
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, I was just mortified.
That's funny. That is hilarious, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
really resisted Dr. Minesha even after I got my certification, went through all the training, and it was an in-depth
Even after
training.
that? Oh my god. So
It
then let
was
me ask you this, Kat, because that's a big resistance. I
Yeah.
have to, and this is so you all can see live what I mean when I say lean in and unpack. I'm gonna unpack with Kat. Alright, we're
Yeah.
gonna unpack with Kat right now because leaders, and the reason why I love you so much, Kat, is because you are transparent and you are willing to do the work, to say, "Hey, let me explore. Do I like this? What is that? What am I feeling?" All those things. Like, nope, I'm not doing that. As you're taking the coaching classes and putting yourself in
Mhm.
position. So now that you look back and you're reflecting, I wanna unpack that to see what was the big idea, the overarching idea that you believe that was causing you to resist the idea of a coach? There was something about that word that you did not want to identify with. What was that?
It was the messaging that I got from a very because I've been an entrepreneur since 2005. Since I
Mm.
moved to Denver, since I sold my house, quit my job, started a business, and quit smoking, like, all in the
Oh,
same city.
wow.
I moved to Denver.
Wow, that is
And
awesome.
so I had to do a lot of networking, and it
Mhm.
was a lot of paper chef, and it was a lot of,
Mhm.
like, women selling to women, and everybody was
Mhm.
selling something, and a lot of them were kind of the
Mhm.
Amway, the paper chef,
MLM.
the oils, scented oils. Not that there is anything wrong with any of those pursuits,
Mhm.
but there were a lot of coaches, a lot of
Mm.
life
So
coaches
it felt
that were
cliche. It didn't feel
it felt
original.
cliche, and
Yeah.
I'm not kidding when I thought when I said, the SNL skits because, Stuart Smalley, "I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me." That's what I associated
Yeah.
life coaching
Okay,
with.
that makes sense.
And I really so it was my own story that I
Mhm,
had about what it meant to be a
mhm.
coach.
Neuroassociation of the brain.
Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely, and that's why I was so resistant to adopting it as an identity, and it was a process. It took me a year or 2,
Oh,
even after I got
wow.
certified, to really understand what the
Wow.
value proposition was that I brought to coaching, and then I kept seeing the amazing transformations of my clients,
Mm.
and I experienced my own amazing transformation
Yeah.
as a result of being coached. So I'm like, "Wow,
Yeah.
this is like the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the
Absolutely.
process." Right?
Absolutely. Let me ask you this because I've heard this before. I actually have a close friend that felt the exact same way and still is struggling with that. And I've told her for years, I'm able to see people who have the potential to be a coach before they even know it.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so, but I do hear a lot of that resistance, and I do think that a large part of it is that there has been a lot of coaches. It was like this big trend when coaching
Yeah.
first came out. that really does make you not want to be, associate with it. But the biggest key for me, and I would love to hear what you feel, and when it comes to a person that's looking for a coach and really deciding what they need to be looking for exactly. Because sometimes, it's not necessarily about how long they've been doing it or what certifications that they have and all of those things. I do it a lot like how I find a childcare provider for my children. Or school. I don't go for the A school, the A plus school. Yeah, no, I want to visit the school. I want to have a conversation with teachers. I want to see what their methodology is, their curriculum, and so whether you're a parent leader or working in corporate, you have to make these decisions. And so I want to really have just some very specific things that you can consider so that you're making more sound decisions and you don't fall into the trap, which I have, where you end up hiring somebody that is not either in alignment with your values and the way they do. I mean, something as simple as cursing like a sailor, like it's distracting. You can't even get the information because they're constantly like, it could be something that simple that just doesn't align with who you are that can throw you off your growth path. And so, having a coach that can connect with me as a person is a big one, and that's discerning and knows what I need from a spiritual standpoint is big, but also to a proven system. Like I need some kind of framework. I need something that's worked and you've repeated it and that's getting results. For me, those are key elements. I would love to hear some more key elements that you believe just makes a qualified to coach you.
Okay, so in my brain, when I was getting when I was thinking about becoming a coach, it was very important for me to have the piece of paper, to have the certification, to have the training.
Mm.
And I again, that's my stuff. That's not
Mhm.
necessarily important for everybody, but it was very important for
Mhm.
me. I wanted to counteract that
Mhm.
kind of story that I had
Mhm.
about it being
Mhm.
cheesy or not
Absolutely.
real. So
Mhm.
I went to a pretty intensive coach training and got certified with the, International Federation of
That's
Coaches.
awesome.
So I've got my certification. It's the real deal. So I needed that for me. Do
Absolutely.
do
That's
all of
awesome.
my clients care about that? Some do, some
Yeah,
don't,
oh, absolutely. Yeah,
right? So
for
it
sure.
depends on what is important to you
Values.
in terms of how you're going to be paired with a coach.
Absolutely.
The most important thing I think is something that you pointed out, and that's rapport, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I always that's why I offer that free, uh,
Discovery call.
introductory,
Mhm.
exploratory call to see if, like, do we
Is it a
have
fit?
rapport,
Yeah.
right? You have to because coaching, it is not therapy, and I'm very clear kind of about the boundaries, but we talk about deep stuff.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
It's that place where you get to go that is 100% focuses on you, and you don't have to worry about being judged because coach training kinda trains the judgment out of us.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm a human being, but during that hour, it's my job not to
That's
bring
right.
my story and my assumptions into the coaching session. So,
Mhm.
when a client feels seen and trusted, right, and they feel like
Mhm.
they can trust you with their vulnerability, that's when
Mhm.
really
Oh
deep work
gosh.
happens,
That's when the
and that's
great stuff happens
yeah,
right there. Transformation can take place for sure.
yes, but so it is that kind of esoteric. Do we have rapport? Do I feel connected to this person? Do I feel safe with this person? And
Mhm.
really, in terms of my coaching, safety is thing one, right? If you don't
Mhm.
feel safe with me, then we're not gonna make progress. So the
Mhm.
certification was important, really more for me than for my clients,
Mhm.
and, the rapport is number 1. Even if
Mhm.
you've got the best system in the world, it
Mhm.
doesn't matter if the person doesn't feel safe with you,
That's it.
right?
I really I wanna add so many layers of perspective because that was such a golden gem that you shared when it comes to building rapport and creating that safety. And right now, when y'all are listening to that, I want you to think about it in dimensions as the multiple roles that we play because most of the people that follow us, they're high achieving. They wear multiple hats. I want you to
Mhm.
just pause and take a moment of all the hats that you play. How can that show up when it comes to your relationship with your children, your relationship with your spouse, your relationship with your team? I feel like the same things that you said are things that apply. They're looking, you know? So for them, they're looking for that safe place, that
Mhm.
psychological safety. They're
Yeah.
looking to be able to have that rapport. Everybody that you lead is searching for that. They have this, whether it's loud or silent, there's this quiet expectation that they desire to create some type of safe rapport with you. And when they do, I believe that absolutely transformation and whatever you want to produce underneath underneath that leadership will come out with that type of, culture that you're creating. So I love that so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're speaking to something that made me a real believer in coaching, right?
Mhm.
It made me a lot it's a lot easier for me now to sell coaching because I've seen what it does for my clients. I've
Absolutely.
seen the magic that happens.
Yeah.
And yes, if I help you get that next promotion, fantastic, right? If I help you de-stress, if I help like there's so many things that I can help people with, but the things that move me to tears that my clients say back to me are, "I'm more present with my kids.
Mm.
My kids have a better parent,"
Hmm.
right? I I I love this story. I just gotta tell it real quick.
Go
So,
for it.
I was working with, a client who was a director in, a startup, and he had a big team and busy, 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 and
Mm.
overwhelmed, and he just wanted to quit and go be like, work for the Forest Service, and now we know
Mm.
that's not gonna happen, right?
Right.
So, in terms of the outcomes, one of the things that he really wanted to achieve was being present with his family, right? He had a 7-year-old son and a
Mm.
wife, and he felt like he was kind of missing it because even when he would get done with work, he would bring work with him into the rest of his life. So he wasn't
Hmm.
ever really there, even when he was
Mm.
there.
Oh, yeah.
We worked together for about 2 months on, some time management, some prioritization, all the tips and tricks, managing his stress, and within 2 months, he took his first family vacation in
Oh,
years.
my.
He took a Friday off,
Oh,
but
wow.
decided on a Monday, "I'm gonna take this Friday off,"
Wow.
because it was his son's, last day of school. He was getting out for the summer, and his favorite superhero movie was opening that day. So he
Oh.
got his 7-year-old little cape, right? And they went to the mall, and they went to the movie together, and he's telling me this, and I'm
Oh
trying
my
to be all professional, and I'm
god.
like, "That's so
Yes,
That's
yes,
that's the magic, right?
yes.
When you are and I've had, parents, I've had people, like, pop into their heads into the session, "Thank you so much."
Yeah,
Like, I have a
wow.
better father, I have a better mother, I have a better
Yes,
spouse, right? Because
absolutely.
it allows you to show up in such a better version of
Meaningful way.
yourself.
Yes, for sure. I call it, in that case, daddy the memory maker.
Oh,
It's one of the things that I really lean in on when it comes to leaders is that especially people that have seasons where work is necessary, like,
mhm.
and they, hey, we have a intense period, like whether it's in taxes or whether you have a benchmark or a company that, and around this time it's intense, you know, letting the kids know ahead of time and so they can be meaningfully involved in the process, setting a goal that everybody can, win. Hey, after mom and dad hits this goal, we're going to go to this trip, something that everybody can feel involved in the process. And the biggest thing was that memory maker because I've realized really early on when I was in the heat, in the thick of the corporation and the late hours and all the things, and I refused to turn my heart away from my home. I was like, I have to get clever. I call this the Disney strategy because Disney, I don't know. Have you ever been to Disney World before?
Are you kidding me? I
Okay,
remember I was
yes.
a meeting planner.
Okay, so this is we could be honest here, right? The kids
Oh,
are
yeah.
not around. We're just talking. Disney actually is the most stressful, hot, long lines. It's not all it's cracked up to be for those who
Right?
never been, right? It's expensive drinks and food. However, they have done an exceptional job at creating the memories at the right time so that that kid and that parent even doesn't even remember their thighs burning because they've been walking for miles and the heat
Mhm.
penetrating them and the expense of this
Yeah.
and that. They remember the fireworks. They remember the parade to this day, right? Like it's been
Yeah.
years since and it's like we remember these intentional moments. And that's what your client did. And that's what I empower leaders to do is that you can have that Disney effect. You can create those intentional moments the way he did that your children remember for a lifetime. And yeah, they won't even remember that you had a hard season that you worked. They're going to remember that piece. And if you just be intentional about putting those memory moments in there, the way the brain works, that's the part. It's going to outshadow everything else.
And sometimes our brains keep us from doing that because it's not perfect. It won't be
Yeah.
perfect,
So
right?
good. Yes.
And and that's what we work to unwind
Yes.
is intentional about what? And what does success look like, right? Does it really look like the perfect vacay?
Yeah.
Or does it look like those little moments? When I was a kid,
Yeah.
my
I love
mom
that.
had multiple sclerosis. I was an only child.
Mm.
So I had a very sick parent. They
Mm.
they divorced when I was young. My
Wow.
mom didn't have a lot of energy, and she would make me cream of chicken soup. Remember Campbell's cream of chicken
I
soup,
do. I
right?
do.
So, that was one of the things she made me when I was growing up, little, and
Wow.
then I became a grown-up, and I wanted to revisit one of my
Yeah.
childhood favorites
Of
of
course.
cream of chicken soup, and I called my mom, and I'm like, "It
Right.
doesn't taste
It
right.
doesn't
Where
taste
are the
right.
lumps?" Right? There's flavor lumps. And she's like, "Sweetie, that's because I did not have the energy to whisk it long enough to get the lumps out, right?" That was one of my favorite parts,
Oh,
were the flavor
man.
lumps in the cream of
Oh.
chicken soup,
Aw.
and if you look at that circumstance through that perfectionist lens, she failed. She failed as a mother. There were
Yeah.
lumps in the soup, but
Yeah.
if you're looking for the opportunity for magic,
Yeah.
the lumps were flavor lumps. They were
Yes.
magical, and they were the best part.
Yes.
I couldn't
Yes.
recreate it.
I love it. And the fact that you couldn't recreate it even made it more valuable to me,
Yes,
you know?
yes.
That's so beautiful. What an amazing story. Now, before we land this plane, I really want you said a F word earlier. You know what the F word was?
I mean,
You
I do
said
have a tendency to
fun. No, no, you said fun.
fun.
And I
Yes.
think that that is such an important word.
Mm,
And, I don't know if you had something else you want to leave with us today. And if you do, you're more than welcome to share that. But I really
mm.
wanted to um, just admonish everyone who's listening to have more fun. To really take it Kat's advice about fun. Because I feel like at some point when we've just made the decision that we are adults, and there's just certain ways that adults are supposed to act, that things are just not supposed to be fun. Every single thing in your life, you can make fun, even if it's a small little tweak, even something as simple as going to the grocery store. You can what I call romanticize it and make it something you look forward to, you
Yeah.
know? And so I would love to hear, what is something that feels fun for you? What is that? And you're now that you're an adult.
Okay. So, it's gonna sound so self-serving. It's gonna
That's great.
sound
That's awesome. No judgment.
the reason I love what I do so much is I really saw my purpose clearly, and that's a whole other story, but I realized I'm a mirror so that others can see themselves clearly. Like, that is it.
Mm.
That is what I do, and it's so much fun for me. And I
Mm.
don't carry, like, all the emotional baggage and, like,
Yeah.
make it mean all the things that other people make it mean. So what is fun for me is, like, when I'm
Ah.
reading what's going on with you, like a Post-it note on your forehead, and people just they're like, "Oh my god. I
Wow.
never knew that. How did I not see that?" I'm like, "How
Wow.
did you not? It's like it was on a Sharpie on your forehead."
Wow.
That's fun for me. And it's something
Yeah.
that I've done all the
That's
time. So
cool.
anything that allows me to connect with the others in the room, with my friends, with my husband, with, the people at the grocery store. Like, I really love that human connection. That's what makes it
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Me, that's what makes it fun, is
Absolutely.
being a part of and observing human connection and human
Mm.
kindness, right?
Oh,
I
I
just
love that.
lights me up.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that is beautiful. And I thank you so very much just for coming into the lounge today and bringing legacy level insight. That's what I call it. Because when you help the leader, you help the world, you know?
Absolutely.
And you're absolutely right. The ripple effect that happens in the home is what feels fun to me. And I want you to just leave with this, that it's not about how much you carry, it's about how well you carry it. And if you want to be able to experience life to the fullest, start with fun. Find ways to have a little bit more fun because that is a catalyst for joy. And when you have joy, you're able to make true impact in the world. And so remember, peace driven leadership is not something you find, it's something you create. And this now is your moment to create it. So until the next episode, bye bye for now.